Hi all, good morning. Yeah. So in last class, we are looking about a scope of variable. If we are having multiple classes, so how variable will be exist in the other classes. So first, we just quickly recap what we are doing. So we are learning our OOPS programming. So under the OOPS. So OOPS is our programming principle. So for getting this programming principle, we should have object. For creating the object, we are having class. So with the help of class, we can create the object. And if we are having class, with the help of we can create object. So we can achieve abstraction, we can achieve polymorphism, we can achieve inheritance, we can achieve encapsulation. So this is our object oriented principle. If a programming follow the object, so we can achieve. So any programming language follow this principle. So we call the object oriented programming language. So not only Java, if other programming language follow this principle, so we can say object oriented programming language. So it is a object oriented principle, we can say object oriented programming system, we can say. So Java is a one language, .NET is a one language, Python is one language. So any language can follow the OOPS principle. So we called as a object-oriented programming language. So Java is a object-oriented programming language, but Java is a class-based. So for anything, we have to create the class. So we are having some, if we are having object-oriented programming language, so our code will be modular, maintainable, reusable, extensionable, and easy to learn. So if any issue comes, so it we can debug very easily. So object oriented programming promote the modularity, reusability, maintainability. So a large scale application, our developer will be very convenient. So object oriented programming language is very popular. So for getting all the features in our Java programming language, we should know each and everything, each and every syntax. We should know what is the meaning about all the syntax. So we create the class. So for creating the class, we create the source file. So source file extension will be .java, and we will convert into .class file. So some intermediate code will be generated, and our JVM will load this .class file, and it will communicate with our operating system, and our operating system always communicate with our hardware. So we write the source file. After that, we have to compile, and we have to pass our JVM. So whenever we run our Java program, so our JVM will execute our program. A memory will be allocated, class will be loaded, and our program will be executed. So memory related things is taken care by our JVM, and a lot of things, daemon thread is going on inside the JVM. So it will do some memory management for us. So memory management is a costly operation in our C and C++. So Java, in Java programming language, we have to focus on our business logic. Our memory creation part and destroy part will be taken care by our JVM. So Java is such kind of programming language. Memory management is taken care by our JVM. So just we have to focus our business logic. So we have created the class under our source file. We can create interface, we can create enum. So first we are looking over the class. So class is a nothing but a template, or we can say class is a user defined data type where we define something, we define some data part, we define some method or a business logic. So we can define only variable, we can define only method, or we can define both the things together. So class is a one template, or uh, a collection of variable of method, we can say anything. But keep your mind, class is a user defined data type where we will define some data according to our requirement, like student, employee, car, anything we are defining. So we can define inside our class. So for defining the class, we define the variable, constructor, method inside our class. So variable is responsible for the data. So we can store data. So we will assign how many variable will be there and what the data type will be there. So data type concept already we have seen under our logical programming, our fundamentals. So any data type we can take, it could be primitive or it could be reference. So we variable we are looking currently. So whenever we define the class, so two keywords we put in front of class. One is a abstract and one is a public. Oh, sorry, one is a final. So abstract class will force you for inheritance. We cannot create the object of abstract class, and final class will prevent you for inheritance. So whenever we create any class, so always we have to create the object, because in the Java programming language, we don't write all the business logic in single file. We create the separate file, and we create the separate class, and we create the object, and object will call to each other, object will be collaborate. So for doing anything, always we write classes, and we create the object, and object will be communicated each other. So it's we called object collaboration. It is a very important, because ultimately just we don't have to write the one class and just get the output. Always we have to use all the object. So program will be executed in sequentially, but in Java programming language, we are creating the object, and object are communicating to each other. Object are using features to each other. So we are having two types. Either we can use is a relationship. So inheritance is a one concept. So with the help of inheritance, we can achieve the feature of other object, or another one is a has a relationship. So under has a relationship, we have to create the object. So either we can achieve inheritance, or we can achieve our has a relationship. So both the things we have to achieve in our program as per our requirement. So if we are having a has a relationship, so we are having some association, aggregation, composition. So association means we can depend, our object will be called a multiple object. It might be we can create the object of multiple object. So aggregation and composition, if our object is dependent, like a car class object and engine class object. So we cannot create the car class object without the engine. Car object can't be exist. So relationship will be very strong. So we call the composition. If relationship is a weak, employee is having address. So without address, we can get the information of the employee. So as per the our requirement, we have to build a strong or weak relationship between the object. So we call the aggregation and composition. So association means there is a relationship one to one to many. This kind of relationship should be in the object. But if it is strong or it is a weak, so we call the aggregation. If it is weak, if it is a strong, we call the composition. So uh, at framework level, we will call same thing is a dependency injection. So currently we are learner, so we are uh, creating the object for anything we are doing all that things, but at framework level we don't create object directly of some container, some special programming in our our framework level. There is some container will create the object. We don't create the object directly in our framework level. So ultimately in application level, we don't create the object, it is created by some container. But we are learner. So first we are creating the object and we are doing something in with the object, like we are passing some data or we are getting some data and we are analyzing with data. So we have debug yesterday our program, so we can see the data where memory will be allocated. So we were looking variable. So variable we can define in three way: instance variable, class variable, local variable. So our class level variable, so we can define as a instance variable or as a class variable or as a local variable. So inside the class, we can define the variable at three places. So at our class level or our method level. So over the class, we can define variable with a static keyword. So we call the class variable, and we defined without static. So we called our instance variable. So instance variable memory will be created whenever object will be created. So this will be our instance variable. So in the employee detail, so we are creating new employee detail. So we have to take some field or variable in our class. So if a variable is instance variable, so all the information will be new. So employee name, employee roll number, employee salary, this information will be new. But in same class, some information will be common, like company name. So in this case, we have to put a static in front of variable. So what multiple copy won't be created. It will be shareable between all the object. So our we have to use class variable in this case. So whenever instance variable will be created, so memory will be created at runtime. Whenever object will be created, memory will be created. But class variable memory will be created at loading time. Whenever our class will be loaded into the JVM, then memory will be allocated. Timing is very important, and in application level, always we will face issue at memory level. So it is a critical part. So sometimes in the interview will ask you what is the critical things in your application. They want to check your knowledge, you have worked or not. So something about the memory you have to always say. We face these challenges out of memory error or some memory leakage related problems we have faced. So then interview will ask you how you have to resolve. So while writing the program, something we have to take care. So we have to do programming like that. So we want to get this kind of issue. And whenever we are executing our program, our application, so under the our RAM, we have to allocate the memory for our JVM. So lot of thing is there. So just they want to listen something you are experienced or not. So they ask this kind of question, general question. So what the challenges you have faced in your applications? So memory related challenges comes in our application. It is a generic things. Always memory related issue comes because whenever we developed our application, so we developed our local system. So it might be our business logic is executing fine, but whenever your logic will work in real time or in a live environment or production environment, so you might get some issue. So we will see whenever we will write a program at our application level, industry level. So variable, we will define instance variable, class variable, local variable. So instance variable, whenever object is created, instance variable will be created. So class variable, whenever class is loaded, our the class variable will be created. It will be created the memory. And local variable, whenever method is called or constructor is called, so this variable will be created and this will be destroyed quickly. Just a method will be ended, method call will be ended. So this variable will be destroyed as a quickly. So there are some memory area. So instance variable will be created under the heap area. Our class variable will be created under our method area. Local variable will be created under our stack area. So there are the some area inside the JVM. So heap, stack, method, it is some memory related unit. So it will be created accordingly. So after that we have seen what modifier we can use in front of variables. So public, private, protected, it is a modifier. So it is a modifier, or we can say access specifier, or we can say access modifier. So it defines the accessibility. So whenever we write any class, so class we have to create some package. So we can define we can define some public, private, protected keyword in front of variable. If we have defined the private, so our variable scope will be within the class. So if I have defined my variable will be private, so I cannot access anywhere. So I am defining my variable is private. So this variable will be access only this class. If I want to access this variable in other class with the help of inheritance, so this is a inheritance. This is a easy relationship. So we can't access if we are creating the object and we are trying to get, we can't access. So our variable will be private. So we can access within the same class only. So in same class, we can access anywhere. This is our private variable. So this keyword is responsible for accessing same object data. If we are accessing same object data within the class or within the object, so we have to use this keyword. This keyword will work only class level. We cannot access other class level data. So this will work only class level. So we have seen this keyword, this always represent the current object data. So whenever our program is executing and lots of object is created, so whenever we are accessing some object, so what will be the current object in context? So this will access a current object data because our program will be executing. So we are using multiple object. So we have to get the information whenever program will be executed and it is pointing to some object. So that time we have to get information, our object information. So our this keyword will be responsible for that. So this is our this keyword we can use if we are not writing this keyword. So our compiler will add this keyword if we are writing or not writing. So don't think like that. We can access our data with the help of reference variable. We cannot access directly if we are putting or not. This keyword is there inside the class. We are if we are accessing the our class data, so this is the responsible for that. So if you are writing or not, but this keyword will be there for accessing our same object data. So private, if you are putting private, you can access only same class. If you are putting data is protected, so it will be used at same class, and other class it will be used, but only inheritance level we can use in other package. We cannot access uh, with the help of object. If if we are putting our object is a our variable is a protected, so we can access in other class. So our class should be perform inheritance, or we can if it is not performing inheritance, so at least it should be in same package. So at same package or at inheritance level, we can we can access this object, but in other package, so in other package it should perform inheritance. So protected will work or inheritance level or same package level. In other package we cannot access without inheritance. So I am trying to access without inheritance. So you will get, so I am taking one more class is a e class. So it is a fundamentals. So I am not taking some our standard name. So I am just taking ABCD class name for understanding the concept. So I have taken one more class e class. So I will try to access this class object, but I am using Hazer relationship. So for Hazer relationship, I have to create the object of a class. So I have created the object of a class. So it is our other package. So we have to import the first package because it is in other package. A class in other package. So we have imported. So we have we are having package. So we will access this object. So for accessing this object, we should have some method. So I am having show method. So if we are try to access this particularly variable, so we will get our some error. So because it is a protected. So protected means it will work only inheritance level, or if we are not performing inheritance, so it will work only same package level. Accessibility will be only same package. So we can use our protected. So if we are putting public, so we can access anywhere. It doesn't matter. It will be the his relationship or his relationship. So public will work in same package. If we are applying inheritance or we are applying as a his relationship, if we are applying inheritance in other class in other package, so it will work as a his relationship. It will work. So it won't be matter for public. So public, for public there is no rule. We can access anywhere. We don't have any issue. But private will work only inheritance level or same package level. So if we are not putting anything, not a public, private, protected, so our variable will scope will be default scope. So default scope will work at our package level only. So under our package level we can access, but outside the package we cannot access this kind of variable. So always usually we write public or protected. Mostly we sorry, public or private. Mostly we write in application level. You always see variable will be public. Mostly you will see variable will be public or a private. Mostly. So it is a access specifier. So with the help of this particularly variable, always we can create the uh, memory. We can create the memory. So I am just using public. So it will be access anywhere. So this will be our instance variable because it is without static. So same thing I want to do with our. I am taking one more variable. So it is a primitive type. It is our reference type. So I am putting city. So it is our reference type. Similarly, we can take array. So array is also our reference type. So array is a collection of similar data, similar element. So it is our reference, or we are using some our custom class like our student class. So it will be our reference class. So we can take our primitive data type or our reference data type. We can use anything. So same thing I will do with the help of our class variable. So we will see how class variable will work. So we can just define static. So our variable will be as a class variable. It will take memory only one time. I am repeating again and again. So static, something is static in our programming, not only in Java, in other programming as well. If something is static, it will take memory only one time. So instance variable will take memory whenever object is created, but static variable will take memory only one time, and our timing will be at loading time. So we can say our loading time. So static memory will work at our loading time, and our class, uh, our instance variable will be created at our whenever object is created. It object creation time or loading time is a very important because it is a core programming. So ultimately first memory will be created, then our program will be executed. So we have to think everything. So I am putting public in front of static. So static variable will work at class level because it is creating whenever our dot class file is loaded. So a particular dot class file will be loaded, then it will be created. But if we are accessing this particularly variable, static variable, so what will be happening? So it will be public so that we can access anywhere. So always we access this kind of variable with the help of class name. So if I am trying to access this variable, so under the J, so you can use this as well. There is a no issue for applying the this because this particularly variable will be created at loading time. So I just quickly show, you have to understand carefully. So static, I am having my class as a student class. I'm taking some variable like our roll number and student name. So this information will be different, like student name or student phone number, it will be different. But something will be common for all student. So I will put our college name will be, so this will be our college name. So it will be our static because college name will be common for all. So we don't have to create the memory for each time. So just I will put a static. So whenever I will compile this program, so dot class file be created. So dot class file be created, and it will be load under the JVM. So this dot class file will be load under the JVM first whenever we execute our program. So at loading time, our memory will be created. So after that, our program will be executed. So whenever under the our execution, whenever it will find this line, object creation step, so we write this line under our program student. So this is our object creation syntax. Whenever this object, this syntax will be executed, one object will be created. So correspondingly for student, one object will be created. So same line we are putting multiple times. That means a multiple object will be created. Multiple memory will be created. So for a roll number, student phone number, memory will be created for this line. When our cursor will go, our execution flow will go in next line. So then again this memory will be created. Again this memory will be created. But our dot class file, so static content will be created while loading time. It won't be created whenever object is created. So and one time will be created. So first which memory will be created? So this memory created earlier as compare our object related memory created. So static content related memory already there, whether our object is created or not. So static related memory already there. So our this keyword will work. This keyword will work because we don't have to wait for creating the object, because our at loading time our variable related memory is already there. Static content memory already there. So this keyword will work because something is already there, so we can access the memory. So this keyword we can use at static level as well, so there is no issue. But we should not access data like that. Our coding standard, it is not under our coding standard. We don't have to use this keyword for accessing static data. Always for accessing static data, always we have to use a class. So just write the class name and our variable name. So we can use static data, we can access static data, because memory will be created only one time. It is not creating whenever object is created, just a one time memory is created. So why we use this keyword? So this keyword we use object data, object current object data, we use this keyword. So always object data will be created newly whenever our object is created. So new information will be created with the help of new keyword. When other object is created, so other new information will be created. So this we use for accessing the current object data. But for accessing static content we can use this keyword, there is a no issue. But it is a not creating multiple times, so already our memory will be there. So just there is our syntax, we can access our static content directly with the help of class name. So just we have to put on our class name and our variable name, so we can access the data. So we can write this as well, so there is a no issue. Just our compiler will show some warning. So the static field a dot j should be accessed in static way. So this is not standard, we have to access in static way, so our warning will gone. So always keep your mind whenever you are trying to access static data, so you have to use this manner, you have to access this manner anywhere. So I have put on the public, so we can access anywhere. So with the same class we can access, with other class we can access. So our static content is not a part of inheritance. Static content won't be part of inheritance. So I will access this J. So I can access this J, but it won't be part of the inheritance. So I can access this J static keyword is there. So our coding standards say we have to use our class name because it is inside our a class. So static will work only just for it is creating memory only one time. So always we have to access like that. We don't have to access this particularly object with the help of this keyword. So in other class as well, other package, sorry, in other package as well, we can access our static content. So because of it is our public, so we can access with the help of class. So because it is a public, so I can put a public keyword, so it will be accessed anywhere. But if we are putting private, so static will work only class level. So you will see I have put on the private, so we want to get error, but our b, this is our inheritance level, we get some error, and other class we get some error because our this variable is our private, it will work only class level only. And if we are putting a protected, so if we are putting protected, so it can access in same protected keyword basically used for inheritance level or same package level, but static content is a not a part of inheritance actually. So we are accessing always this particularly object with the help of our class name. If we are trying to access like this, so it is allow, but we don't have to access like that. So at our package level, we are able to access, but in other package level, because of the we have put on the our protected. So yeah, so we are creating with our has relationship. So we are trying to access this j variable. So it won't be allow because we have defined our protected. So protected will work only our inheritance level or in a same package level. So just difference is that our static variable and our non-static variable we can put this this three axis specifier public, private, protected. So according to that it will behave. So it will be our instance variable and it will be our class variable. So class variable will take memory only one time, but instance variable will take memory multiple times. Whenever object will be created, new memory will be allocated for our instance variable. So keep your mind your instance variable and your reference variable. So just you have to write two package and try to access, so you will get everything. So you can put public, private, protected. So for private, it is fine. It will be accessed in same class. For public, it will access anywhere. Just for protected, you have to be careful. And for a default, if you are not putting anything, it will be default. So you have to just careful. And public and private is a straightforward. Private will be accessible in same class, and public will be accessible in other class. So our static content won't be part of inheritance. We can access in our child class, but it is not a part of inheritance. It will work only class level. So for always accessing static content, always we have to use our with the help of class. Just put the class name and our variable name so that you can access your static content. So always keep your mind, always you have to get, get this static content with the help of our class. So this is about a variable. So this is our access specifier. So apart from access specifier, we can use two more keyword. One is a final. So we can put a final in front of our instance variable. So if we are putting the our final keyword, so our memory will be fixed. We cannot change if you are putting the final. So if you are putting final in front of variable, so accessibility will be public, but you cannot modify the variable. So just I have to take some other class. Yeah, so this is our class. I will take this is our variable I. So if we are trying to int I, so if I want to access my this particularly class variable, so first I will create the object of our final instance class. So I am just creating one more class for creating the object within same class. We don't create. I am creating one more class, our test class, just for testing our object. Yeah. So this is our this variable we are defining. So I will access this variable in my class. So I first I will create the object. Final instance variable I am creating the object of this class, so memory will be created. So we will access this variable I variable. So this is my object I variable I am accessing. So so we have defined this variable inside our class. I am taking one reference data type as well, like a name. We will put some name. So you will see this is our class. So under the class, first we will create the object and we will try to access the information. So I will execute the code. So we will get some default value of I, because we have not initialized the variable. So our default value will be I is 0. So under the console we can see 0 will be there. So this is our default value. So 0 will be there, our default value. I will assign some value inside that. So we are defining some value for our primitive type or a reference type. So I am putting my name. So we can access this particular variable inside our first we have to create the object, then we are accessing the particular object data. So we have already seen this syntax. So for this syntax is responsible for creating the object, this particularly syntax. So object will be created, and this particularly syntax for reference variable, so that we can access the object. So these two syntaxes we have already seen. So we are trying to access the data. So we have passed some detail. So if we are trying to access the data, so with the help of reference variable we can access the data. So our data will be shown. Yeah. So one method is there, show method we are writing. So I am manipulating my data 20. So because of it is an instance variable, we can access this data in our class level. So I will call my this show method, and I will print again this variable. So you will see our data value is changed inside the object. So first it will be printed 10, after that it will print the 20. So first our object is created. One object is created. Under the our object there is a one variable I will be created. So this is my variable I. So under the I value will be there 10. So this 10 will be created inside our object under the heap area. After that method is called, show method is called, and we have override this to variable to our 20. So our we have override this particularly object data. So our variable will be overwrite. So first time our 10 will be printed, and next time our 20 will be printed. But I want to fix my data. It should not be changed. Then what we have to do? So first we have created the particularly variable, and we have created the object. So just we have to put the final keyword. So if we are putting the final keyword, then our data will be fixed. So we cannot manipulate the data. So you are looking, we are getting some error. So if we are putting the final in front of the data, so we cannot change the data. So value will be fixed. We cannot manipulate. So final will prevent you for the manipulation of the data. So final means it will be fixed. We cannot change. So always whenever we are having some final, so always first we have to initialize the final. If if you are taking some variable like this, so you will get the error. They will tell you initialize. So final variable should be initialized. If we are putting anything, it should be initialized, and we can use this particularly final keyword. So for getting some constant, we always use a final keyword. So like if we are having some string, and we are putting some fixed value is a college name. So if it is a final, so variable is a static. So static means it will take memory and only one time. College name, so it is our college name. So static means it will take memory only one time. But if we have put on the final keyword, so it will be fixed. We can manipulate the data. We cannot manipulate the data. So like we are changing inside some method and we are trying to manipulate, so we cannot manipulate the data. And our coding standard say whenever your data is a final, so you are creating some constant, so you have to follow this coding standard. So our variable name should be like that. So in the application level, you will see this is all the thing is under capital letter and with our underscore. That means our variable value will be fixed. So whenever we are defining the constant, in this case, we have to take final. So final keyword, that means the final value will be final. We cannot change the value. So value for defining the constant. So if we try to manipulate, so we will get the error, compile time error. So compiler won't allow for manipulation of the our final data. So this is one thing. One more thing, if we are defining the our final variable, so I just quickly show. So final variable value will be fixed. So if we are putting any variable is a final int I, if we are putting the value the final, so we will get one error. It will tell you always we have to initialize. Yeah. So if we are not initialize, so we can initialize inside our constructor. So constructor will be called whenever object is created. So it initially it is not initialized, but when we are creating the object, it will be initialized and it will be fixed. Then we won't be able to change the value. So if we are not initializing, so we can just initialize at our constructor. So constructor can be initialized your final value, but once it will be initialized, we can't change the value. So final keyword is responsible for fix the value. We can create the constant. So you will see always whenever we are defining the constant, so over the application level we define some week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So we have to take some constant, or our month, January, February, March. So we take the constant, or there are the lot of constant at our application level. So if we are using JDBC, so we are putting our SQL query in the some constant. So we use all that things. So whenever we will create some use case, so you will get all that things in the our single program. So I will use all the concept. So first we are learning the concept gradually, then we will put together. So final is a keyword for if you are something and something is not changeable. So we have to put the final. If we are putting a static, so static keyword means only one time memory will be created. So and it won't be changeable. And if we are not putting static, so whenever object is created, variable will be created. But if we have put on the final keyword, so our variable will be final. We cannot change. Our value will be static. So static. So final keyword we use in front of variable, and one more keyword we can use transient keyword we can use. So transient is a one keyword. So transient keyword uh, we use for preventing the serialization. So serialization is a one concept. So actually whenever we are creating the our object, so object means what? Something some information inside our memory. So I want to send my information to other place. So like with the help of internet, I can share my information, or I can put my information in somewhere like in a CD player. I want to put my object detail in the our CD player. So this information is understanding by our JVM, but same information I want to send somewhere. So we have to send like with the help of internet we are sending some information. So we have to convert our data at our network protocol. So we say the our serialization process. So under the serialization process, we change our object data into our like our network data. So we have to convert in the form of the stream. We call the stream. So whatever the information inside our JVM, inside our RAM, we have to convert this information as per the our target. Like we have to share information over the internet, or we have to share information in front in form of some file, or we have to share information in our we have to copy our object data in our cd player or somewhere. So we have to serialize our data. So in the form of the serialization, our data will be shared in the form of the stream. So stream will be share. So it will be a serialization process. Then somewhere our data will be read. So they have to follow deserialization process. They have to convert our data into the our object. So whenever, so first we write the program, we create the object. So our object data we have to convert into the our serialization format. We have to convert under the stream. So our data will be converted into the stream. So object inside our RAM. So this will be our object, but this information I want to share. So over the network I want to share, or I want to put this information inside the our some file. So we have to follow the serialization process. So serialization is one process where we can get the information, and we will create the stream. Keep your mind stream. Stream is a sequence of data. So our object data will be converted into the stream, and the stream will be shared over the network, or over the some file we will pass stream. So this process is called a serialization. If we are converting our data into the stream, so this process is our serialization. So same data I want to access somewhere. So we have to do reverse the process. We have to do reverse the process. It is called a deserialization. One is a serialization, another one is a deserialization. So our data will be inside the our JVM. So information inside our JVM, but I want to share my data. So our network can't understand directly our JVM data. So we have to convert our data in the form of network understandable. So we have to convert stream, or we are sending our data in some file, or some other JVM. So first we have to convert into the stream. Then after that we have to convert stream to the object. So under the our JVM object will be there. So object will be converted into the stream, and reverse process stream will be converted into the object. So we are converting our data into the form of the stream, so that we can share. Because over the network our network can't understand object directly. Object will be understandable by our JVM, our RAM, because the data is behaving is differently, but over the network we are sending the data. So our data will be behave differently. So we have to convert our data like our network protocol. So we have to apply some streaming process. It is called serialization, so that we can send our data in the form of stream. So similarly, we have to do our streaming data to our object. We have to convert, so that we can understand what is the data inside that. So we have to convert our stream data into the our object. So we called deserialization. So always if we are putting some information, this keyword in front of this variable, so whenever I will share my object detail somewhere, so some serialization process will be happening. So this variable won't be part of the serialization, this will be escape. So this variable won't be part of the serialization, it cannot be shared. So some sensitive information, it might be some user ID, some password within the class. We are having some sensitive information. So I don't want to share this information in my deserialization process. So that time we have to use transient keyword. So obviously, whenever we are creating our business application or enterprise application with the help of a Java programming language, so we will communicate with help of internet. Our object, we have to communicate it with our Java object with the help of internet. So our data will be shared in the form of the stream. So, for example, if you are accessing some application like a Flipkart, so you are sending some request, you are getting some response. So over the server, some processing is going. So if you are sending some request, so some request will go with the help of our internet. So our request are going and our response are coming. So something is going on under our server. So over the server, data will be prepared, and uh, before response, it will be converted into the some serialization process. It will be converted into the stream data over the network. Then before coming data in my browser, it is converting into the our stream data into the our object, which is understandable by our browser. So a lot of serialization deserialization process is going on. Our data is converting over the network. So while creating the Java object, if we are sharing this information, this object detail with uh, somewhere over the network, over some file. So if I want to prevent, I don't want to send my data, so in this case we have to take a transient keyword. So transient keyword is used for preventing serialization. So serialization is process for converting our data into the stream. So we will see this thing is very deep in a Java 8 feature, because we use these things. We always first convert data in the form of the stream. So stream is one sequence of the data we call the stream. So one transient keyword we use at our variable level, and one more keyword we can use our volatile keyword. So volatile keyword usually we use whenever our variable are changing frequently. So the value are changing frequently. So if something in our application level, so the value will be changed frequently. So in this case, it will provide some special privilege at our JVM level, at our memory area level, because it is changing frequently. So in this case, we have to use a volatile keyword because the value are changing frequently. So just we have to indicate with our JVM, so that JVM will create some extra memory, because the value are changing frequently. We are accessing, so it should access very fast manner. So two more keyword. So just we have to memorize this keyword usually in the application we don't see this keyword, we see always this kind of keyword, public static final, or with our primitive data type. But transient and volatile, just we should know what is the meaning of transient. So transient means where it prevent the force serialization process whenever we are sending our object detail somewhere. And volatile is whenever our value are changing frequently. So in this case we have to use this two more keyword. So just keep your mind this keyword, but we always use these keywords only. Just but we have to memorize what is the meaning of the this keyword. So our variable level, we have seen our class level, our instance variable, class variable, and our local variable. So three variables, all three type of variable we have seen. So after that we have to see. So this is our final. So over the final, we can initialize the memory and it will be fixed. So I just quickly show one more thing over the our final. So if we are putting a final int j, and our type is a static. So we are not initializing. So we either we have to initialize. So over the static content, we are having one block, static block. We can say static block. So static block will call at our loading time, like wise our static variable. So we can initialize here. So it will be fixed, but we can initialize. So it will take memory only one time. So because of final, we cannot change. If we want to put final, so we can change. So for creating the constant value, we use the our final keyword. So just we have taken both the value static and non-static. So already I told you about our local variable. So under the local variable, just we are having only final. But over instance variable, we are having multiple keyword, public, private, protected. So we have to use, and our final keyword we can use, our final and static we can use. So this kind of keyword we can use in front of our variable transient and volatile. Two more keyword we can use in front of our this instance variable and our class variable. So this thing will be allowed. So we have seen a few keywords in front of our classes. So our next topic will be our method. So what the things we define under the our methods. So first we have created the class. So class level modifier we have seen. So we are having a class, we can define outer class or inner class. So for outer class, just we can define our public, and two more keyword we can use our class level, abstract and final. So this thing we can define our outer class level. but our inner class level we can define public, private, protected, and we can define the other keyword as well. So inner class level we can define, and inside the class we are having variables. So we are having three type of variable: local, instance, and static. Class will be outer class or inner class. So we have seen outer class yet. So inside the class we are having variable, local variable, instance variable, or static variable. Three type of variable we can define. So local variable will work only local body, and we can uh, use public, private, protected. So for local variable only we are having final keyword. Just a local variable we can use only final keyword, but our instance variable level and static uh, our class variable level, class variable, so we can use a public, private, protected. And modifier when use a final, static. Statics means a class variable, and volatile, transient. So this keyword we can use in front of the variable. Just keep your mind. So our next topic will be our method. So inside the class for defining the data, we write our variables. But for writing the business logic, we writing the some statement, our logic. So we use our method. So method is called our a group of statement, we can say. So we write our business logic, a statement with the help of method. We write our business logic, a group of statement, or our business logic. So whenever we are defining anything, any logic, so we call the method, we write the method. So inside the method we write our business logic. So whenever we are defining any method, so always we see in Java programming language, method is a four type. It will be four type. So method with some argument, and with return value. So you are passing some argument, so or and you can get some return value. And method with argument and without return value. So if you are passing some argument, there is a no return value. Or method without argument and with return value. without argument and without return value. So this kind of syntax we will see four type always whenever we are writing any method. So always you see it will be some argument and you will have some return value. Sometimes you won't have return value, sometimes you won't have argument. So this four category you are going to see while defining the method. So whenever we are defining the method, so just I write one example. If I am putting add method int a int b, so you will see this is my parameter and this is my return value. So I will pass input as a parameter and we will get some output. So we are defining the type. What will be the return type? So we are expecting integer should be written. So this thing we can use. So this two parameter variable behaving like a local variable, it our scope will be inside this parenthesis only. It won't be static or instance. It will be local variable. Parameter always consider as a local variable. So we can write like this. We can write like this final int a. So final is allow because final is allow for the local variable. So our parameter will work as a local variable. So we can write a final keyword as well in front of our parameter values. So you can write a final keyword as well. So this is our final. We can pass some array. It is our reference data type. So if you can pass to array, you can get array. We can take some other our reference data type. So this will be our method with parameter and with some return type. So whenever we are writing this syntax, so we have to return something like if we are applying adding, so we have to write some logic as per our requirement. Then and at end of this method we have to return this thing. So this C value will be returned. So what will be the return type? We have to return. Without return, we will get error. So this is our method with a parameter. Similarly, we can write other method without parameter or without return value. So another one is a method with argument without return value. So just what we have to do, we can write same method for second category. Just provide the void. So we don't have to return the value. Just we have to our write our business logic and you can do anything with our your business logic, but you want the return. So this is a without return, and another one is a method without argument and with return. So same thing we can write. So there is a no argument over there. Just we are returning something. So there are something over there. So I am returning something. So my return type is a integer. So we will return some integer. So method without argument and with return type. And last one without argument and without return type. So we are just there is no return type. So we don't have to return anything. Just write your logic, whatever your logic. So already we are using some methods for our earlier concept. So sometimes we are using show method, print method. So we are not returning anything. Just we are printing something. We are writing some logic for learning the concept. So we are using a without argument, without return type method. So there are the four category. So under the four category, you can use any type, like you can pass primitive data, you can pass a reference data, or you can get primitive data as a return type, or you can get reference data like integer or string, or your custom classes or interface, anything we can pass as a parameter, and we can get as a return type. It is a very important, because uh, we are passing some parameter in the form of primitive or reference. So same thing we will do in our JavaScript. So some behavior will be different, because JavaScript will behave different, but syntactically we write same. So accordingly we have to use. So always whenever defining the method, so method always you will see this four category we will get. In four category we always define some method. So in our method we write our business logic. So we write some business logic and some operation we will perform with the help of method. And after the method, we will learn a constructor. So we will get how method will work, how constructor will work. Then we will learn our oops concept, how we are achieving oops concept in our programming level. So we will see in next class. So I will explain some example of the method tomorrow, and I will debug again. And with constructor I will write and I will debug again. So you will get it how we have to analyze our logic, how we have to analyze our source code, our logic, our variable, how memory is creating. So we have to analyze. So we will meet tomorrow, and after few days we will start front end programming as well. So we will start from HTML CSS first. So we will get some idea about HTML CSS, then we will go over JavaScript programming. So we have to start front end programming as well, because full stack development is a huge course. So we have to put some extra effort. So I will take a class for front end programming as well. So I will share my plan in some days. So just understanding our oops concept, our fundamental part, and up to our exception handling, we are good for learning anything. After oops concept, we can learn anything. Servlet, our JDBC, or any framework. But up to the oops concept, up to the exception handling, we have to put effort. because we have to understand all the Java syntaxes and how we have to use this Java syntaxes in real-time manner as a practically in real-time application. So technology or framework are very easy. Just we have to be strong with fundamental and this concept, how we are creating the object, how we are creating the memory, what is the meaning about each and every keyword, how we are using this keyword, what is the meaning of the class, how many classes there, what is the abstract class, final class, what is interface. So if we know each and every concept, so we are good for learning serverlet, JDBC, our advanced programming, so that we can create our real-time application. We can start some mini project as well, but up to the our exception handling, we have to put a lot of effort for learning our core programming skill. So we will put much effort while learning our core programming. Your interview totally depend your core programming. 60% interview will be depend your core programming. They will ask you about core Java related question. They will evaluate you. If your core Java is good, then they will ask about the framework or other things. Otherwise, interviewer is not interested if your core Java knowledge is weak. So we have to strong in our core Java. So day by day we will mature, and in weekend session I will be available in Newton office. So you can meet me. So we can talk, and we can solve the problem. So you come with your system. So we will work with together. So that is pretty much for now. So we will meet tomorrow with same time. Okay, thank you.